Runestones, should they be in the game? Short answer, no. Long answer, here we go. There's been a subject that's been bothering me for quite some time, and now that Runestones have officially been out for 2 weeks, I think I can give my take on how this is going to roll out in the future, and whether or not this is going to be good overall for Hearthstone, or if this is going to have a negative impact on the community. And I hate to say that it's probably going to be the latter, because I personally cannot stand to see Runestones in the game. And I mean, like, if I see the icon, if I see it on Twitter, literally, like, this thing is literally getting to the point where it's almost triggering me. And I'm saying this half as a joke, half as, like, somewhat serious, like, my actual take, because I hate to say that I don't want to buy these things. This, like, Hearthstone literally decided to introduce the concept of Runestones in order to make buying things in the game a lot easier, and all it's done is just add an unnecessary step, and just honestly a lot of negative emotions are now going with your purchase, because the thing that they literally did with the Runestones is that they made people think twice about their decision on whether or not to buy things in the game. And I think that this is something that's worth talking about, not only because do I not agree with the concept of Runestones, but it's actually hilarious to see a lot of people kind of like wake up to how unimportant Hearthstone purchases can seem at times, and especially when you paywall, I don't want to say paywall because, I mean, it's freaking Runestones, but especially when you have something behind, you know, a monetary value, and you have to spend $15 in order to get 1,500 Runestones, you think twice about that. And now, instead of just spending an easy $15 that I was probably going to go ahead and give to you anyway, now I'm thinking twice about whether or not I really want to do that, and I hate to say, the second guessing wins every single time, and I literally never want to make a Runestones purchase. But in any case, when you go online, you see a lot of the same sentiment being thrown around, and since August 30th, when Runestones were thrown into the game, I've had the same exact opinion. Just delete them from the game, because all this does is make people second guess themselves, and to literally to shout the same point that I've been making. There's a lot of people that seem to agree with this, or even Baby Bear. I wanted to get the Priest bundle, which is, she loves to get the Priest bundles. Like, the Anduin skin was one of her favorite skins ever, the Prince Charming one. But she forgot that she needed to get Runestones, and so she just canceled the transaction. This is the problem that I'm talking about. People literally don't want to support this. When your community doesn't want to support this, all you're doing is just, you know, driving an unnecessary divide where it doesn't need to be. And I'm actually going to use the Wild community in this example that I'm going to provide, that I think that Runestones pretty much has done to the game. There's a lot of people that say that Wild needs to be split into 2 different formats. You have the cards where they're completely unchanged, and you have everything as it was originally made. There might be a few nerfs that might be, you know, a little bit up in the air, like stuff that was made in beta, but pretty much the idea of this first Wild mode is to have it to where everything has been unchanged. Then you have the current Wild mode in order to, you know, give people what they've been used to, like they can go back to that and have this ban list of sorts. But the reason why community member and prominent streamer Raffle says that this is a terrible idea for the format is because all this does is just divide your player base in half, to where now there's going to be an uneven amount of people on one server versus on the other, and now it's just harder to find games, especially throughout different ranks. And now this is exactly what's going on with Runestones, because I want to get something, I really want to buy something in the game, but then I remember that I have to buy Runestones, so therefore I tell myself I don't need it and I don't buy it. I would rather buy something for $10 than for 1,000 Runestones, followed by I hate this. Because I really do hate this. There's a lot of people that seem to share the exact same thought process. Exactly the same thought process. I don't understand why they what they expected to achieve with this change. Let's see what some other people said. Same thing from Baby Bear. Dude, same. Runestones is a scam. People think that this is a scam, and I don't want to go so far to say that it's a scam, but it is very similar to how credit card companies get, or not credit card companies, gift card companies can get a bunch of extra money because people don't want to go out and, you know, use like that last $2 on a card. But when you make $2, when you multiply $2 by 1,000 customers, suddenly you've gained an additional $2,000 for quite literally doing nothing. So to some degree, people are right to call it a scam, because all it does is just leave you with an uneven amount of Runestones. And one thing that I also want to point out is that they actually are doing a good job at trying to, like, keep this, you know, 500, you know, divisibility, so that way you don't accidentally get yourself left over with like 20 runestones or something like that. So I will give credit where credit is due, but unfortunately, dude, the way that people are perceiving this is the problem. And it's just another way that Blizzard or Activision or whoever is in charge of monetizing Hearthstone is just squeezing even more out of it, to the point where Runestones is literally all the way at the bottom, because again, you can just buy this right here, and this is, I just feel like this is amazing symbolism to where, you know, Runestones are literally at the bottom of the shop because nobody wants to see this. They don't want to see this icon in the game. This is making me want to log out of Hearthstone. They're just like, ugh. I can't stand this. And I already was not buying the bundles because I don't care about hero cosmetics. There may be some people that love the mage portraits that absolutely want to get this. I will admit, this pre-skin is actually pretty cool, and if you're a big fan of Tyrande, then bam, Blizzard already got your $10. But now suddenly, it's just behind yet another paywall, or yet another step that you have to achieve in order to get what you actually want. And in this day of immediate satisfaction and impulse buying, all this is doing is just limiting how many transactions that you're able to make. So if the higher-ups of Blizzard are watching this, or if anybody that's somehow in charge of the monetization value of this game is somehow taking a note of community feedback, here's my feedback. Just get rid of the Runestones, man. Like, if it's really making Hearthstone that much more money, then alright, you win. Cool, fine. But that's not even the point at the end of the day. Like, making more money off of Hearthstone, especially off of something like Standard, where I believe it was probably being the main source of income for the game, because, you know, every single expansion, people buy the new packs, and it keeps the game alive. That seems like a fine business model, but I feel like we're just, you know, we're squeezing, we're squeezing every single penny where we don't need to be squeezing it from, and then when stuff like the Battlegrounds, you know, fiasco happens, and then you have to only get it for money, people are already going to leave the game because now there's so much net negative that's stacking on top of each other. And I just couldn't sit back and just sit with these thoughts anymore, especially after seeing Runestones develop over the past 2 weeks. And again, I have to give credit where credit is due. The main criticism is having leftover Runestones, but they seem to be doing that fairly well. And I have to applaud Blizzard for at least having the foresight of not getting the math wrong and having like another fiasco like we did with the original Battle Pass, to where their word was actually not true. And this really sucks that this comes down to a feel at the end of the day, but isn't that a reason why a lot of cards get nerfed in Hearthstone? It's not because they're necessarily broken, but when people play them, they literally just want to leave the game and just quit. Just like I am doing right now. I'm not quitting the game. I'm not quitting the game. Don't take that out of context. I love Hearthstone, and I love everything that is done for me, and I want to continue to make content for it, but I cannot support Runestones. I cannot support the concept of Runestones. I just can't, because at the end of the day, it just seems like another way of being able to remind people, hey, you're not spending money to play this game, when in fact you actually are. And I don't sit well with this kind of business practice. Like, again, like it's Blizzard's decision to do whatever they want in order to make money off of this, but it's also my decision as the consumer to choose not to support it for either a moral reason, because I decide not to support Blizzard Activision because I don't want to support whatever aspect of the game. And what I am currently supporting right now is I don't love the idea of how the community is being monetized at literally every single corner, where it seems like, especially in the past couple of years, we've been asked to shell out a lot more money for things that really aren't worth it at the end of the day. Kind of like the gift card companies getting an extra $2,000 for quite literally doing nothing. So I couldn't sit with these thoughts anymore. I really hope that Blizzard can find some use out of this feedback to where it doesn't just seem that I'm complaining. But at the end of the day, it feels bad to support this kind of system, and I just need to get my thoughts out there, because I really hope that something can change, because until something changes, I'm literally never buying anything with Runestones. If it's available with money, I will buy it. Like, I think the Mega Bundles will still be available for money, and quite literally, that's the only thing that I buy within Hearthstone. I don't buy cosmetics. I don't buy Mega Bundles or I don't buy bundles like you saw with the golden cards and whatnot. If anything, I will admit, I have put money into my other accounts, my other servers. But that was because, like, I was trying to do something competitive or something very specific for that season. And honestly, I don't really play on other servers, so in all honesty, it was a waste of money, and to some level, I do regret it. But I still think that this is a feeling at the end of the day that a lot of people can't get over, that they don't want to support Runestones, so therefore they're not going to buy things in Hearthstone. So this idea of being able to improve monetization might have actually just made it worse. I don't have the numbers in order to back this up, so this is all speculation, but I just need to give my thoughts out there, and I wonder if you guys agree with me. So feel free to leave your thoughts below in the comments about how you feel about Runestones, just so that way we can get more opinions about it, because I feel like a lot of people share the same sentiment to where they're fine with paying money. They are fine with spending money in the game in order to get what they want, but they are not okay with buying Runestones.